I have a secret phrase so that if my future self ever comes to visit me, I'll know it's really me. What ridiculous scenarios have you prepared for? Not a ridiculous situation, but my husband and I have a hand signal for when we're in a crowd or out with friends and one of us is experiencing a pooping emergency. OMG, I love that one. We gotta get one of those. When I was a kid, if I was feeling particularly happy, I'd squeeze my eyes shut and save my game, so that if I died I would be respawned at that particular point in my life. Recently I did this again, just so that I wouldn't have to go through the school system again after respawning. I had a dream a few years ago where I did this. I was so happy when I woke up, until I realized that I couldn't just turn life off and restart at the last save point. I felt like a dumbass. Oh, I got this. I have a secret phrase set up with my wife that if I say it, whatever I say after she has to believe. It is reserved for if I come home and say zombie apocalypse is happening or aliens are invading or some crap. But once I say the phrase, she has agreed to just go along with it. Pure genius. Just never follow the phrase up with a comment such as, "But I swear, I wasn't with a H. These guys jumped me, sprayed perfume on my clothes, lipstick on my underwear and gave me a hickey. Truth that." Why bother to come up with a secret phrase for your future self ahead of time? Couldn't you just wait to encounter your future self and then pick the phrase at that point? Your future self should still remember it, after all. Jesus Christ, buy me dinner before you frick with my head. When I'm in a very crowded area I think to myself, I know you can read my mind, then scan the room for a surprised face. Last summer I went to a camp. One day while walking to the cafeteria, this guy, who, BTW, everyone thought would make a bomb and kill us all because of his obsession with making things, passes me. I think, man, that guy scares me. I swear to frick. The moment I think that he turns around and gave me the creepiest smile I had ever seen. Freaking trippy, man. Sometimes just for the fun of it I've thought about how I'd try to advance society faster if I were transported back to, say, the 1700s. It's amazing how with the knowledge you can get from the internet you could prevent several major diseases. That thought is one of my favs too. It would be so cool to go back and either invent things you know will succeed, or at least invest in them. What if your future self tells your secret phrase to someone else, and they come back to visit you? What if it's a girlfriend, and then you break up with her, and then she decides to get even, and she goes back in time and tells you that through miraculous developments in medical technology, you achieve your dream of becoming a fully functioning woman? Even if that isn't your dream now, wouldn't that mean that in some small part of your head, you're going to go, "She knows the phrase, so she must be telling the truth"? I actually have a secret phrase of my own just in case I get visited, and I can tell you, nobody is ever going to know this embarrassing secret other than myself. To prepare myself for the inevitable conversation of what will you do in the zombie apocalypse, I am prepared to locate the nearest zombie, have it bite me, and join the winning team. Zombies wouldn't be the winning team. Their biggest enemy, their means of reproduction and their food is the same thing. The what to do if there's an intruder plan. I've got my old baseball bat in my closet, marbles to roll down the stairs, textbooks to throw at them and a blindingly bright flashlight. I'm looking forward to kick some butt. I have a route planned out to lose anyone that may be tailing me home. One day me and mom were in my truck, and I pee off another driver, who flipped a B and started following us to the house. Immediately hauled butt past my neighborhood, and followed procedure. My route worked and mom and my police officer dad thought it was really freaking cool. It follows canals and alleys and crap. Also, zombies. I just drive towards the police station. I don't know if it counts, but if I see a group of people, I imagine how many people I could hit with a car before they scattered. You'd probably get a higher score if you dropped it on them, or waited until they were watching a concert and catapulted it from behind the crowd. I've thought about making up a secret phrase, but realized I already have one. No one knows I obsess on the Shining Force 2 config cheat code. If I'm bored, frustrated, sad, angry, whatever, I'll tap out the cheat on my desk, leg, Whatever. All I would have to do is walk up to myself and say up down, left right, up right, down left, up B, and there would be no doubt. I think it's more fun to figure out how you'd get around your own defenses, rather than paving a path only you know about. 3. Shining Force 2. Well, there goes my night. Start downloading emulator. In high school, I made sure to have my class schedule written down and my planner up to date at all times in case I somehow switched bodies with someone Freaky Friday style. My GPA didn't need to suffer for some voodoo crap. Voodoo. When I was a current student at my college, my fraternity had an active contingency plan on how to handle the zombie apocalypse. All of us had melee weapons and our plan was to hole up in our upstairs apartment and destroy the stairs and live on our vast stores of ramen and hot pockets. I inherited a lot of guns from the redneck side of my family. In every apartment I live in, I make dang well sure that it is zombie defensible. If zombies can't get in, then stupid people in riots can't, either. If I ever become ultra rich and there's a hot chick in line behind me while I'm at the ATM, I'm going to leave my receipt for her to see my balance. You know when there's twins or something in a movie and they both move the same way at the same time? Like with their hands touching a mirror? I've made a mental rule about who uses their left and who uses their right in case I'm cloned or a future me comes. This isn't so much to confirm it's me but rather to impress onlookers. But if your rule is I'll use my right and my clone will use the left, then subjectivity will frick you up. If someone from the Civil War era ever travels through time and I somehow become responsible for integrating him/her into society, well, I'm still working out what I'd do. Me and my friend have decided that in the occasion of a threesome involving us and a girl, whether we keep our eyes open or closed, spoiler alert, open. Just ask him out already. Ever since I saw the episode of Doctor Who with the silence, aliens that you can't remember when you look away, I've started carrying around a pen with me. If I ever see something supernatural, I make a little mark on my arm. Almost crapped myself last week when I looked down and see 3 marks on my arm. Then remembered I had fallen asleep on a drawing and gotten ink marks on my arm. I have practiced a few personas to use when someone recognizes me, but I don't want to talk to them or I don't want to be recognized in public. They all have their own accents, backstories, walks or gaits, tics, and always give a number with a 555 in it because it shows up as disconnected. Yes, sometimes I wonder if I have split personality, but they've come in handy. If someone gave me a 555 number I would immediately call BS. It's a widely known trope. If I ever have my brain copied into a robot, I prepared myself to see both selves as myself, so whichever body I found myself in afterwards, I would be cool with it. I spent about a month a while back trying to figure out the best way to cheat a genie out of wishes. I came to the following conclusion. Even if the genie was able to defy me the ability to wish for more wishes, and the ability to wish for the ability to wish for more wishes, and even the ability to wish for more genies, I could still trick him. If I ever come into the possession of a magical lamp, I am simply going to write out every single thing I could possibly ever want into a contractless paper sort of thing. Word it so that he can't warp it, and then say I wish for you to read this list and grant everything on it. There should be no way for him to refuse. First off, I wish that wishes will be granted in accordance to the intention of the wisher, and not in accordance to the wording or phrasing of said wishes. I have an ultimate setup hidden within my house. I have a waterproof bag full of matches and lighters and knives, and in case of zombies or burglars, I have a sword that's hidden in the roof. I have a secret alias name. That way, if I'm ever replaced by a clone and so has suspicions, he can ask what my alias is and tada, solved. I don't have a secret phrase, but I have this one word I made up as a small child and never told anyone about for that reason. I have an elaborate scheme planned with my closest friends to euthanize me without getting caught should I develop locked-in syndrome. I discussed with my fiancé what would happen if there was an apocalypse. I had just seen the first episode of Revolution, the show where all the electricity is gone, and brought it up with him. It's important because I currently live in Texas and he lives in England. We figured he'd find a boat and make his way over here and I'd make my way to the East Coast. We didn't plan too far after that though. I'm an orchestra, I play the cello. If someone ever holds me hostage in the music room, when they leave to go get the stuff to kill me with, I will get my cello, take out the end pin, that thing that come out at the bottom to make it taller, which is sharp at the end, and stab them with it or something. Implying they won't have what they need to kill you right there since they are holding you hostage. Psst Todd, it's me future you, I'd tell you the secret phrase but then everyone would know, so you'll just have to trust me. I carry around in my wallet several sheets of paper folded over on which is printed all the information I would need in an incredibly wide variety of fields to elevate in late Bronze Age civilization to steam trains and telegraphs. It is labeled in case of accidental time travel. This gets really tricky when you realize you have to understand precisely every single word and ingredient to communicate it to a person in a language you are still learning. Years of working in criminal law have trained me to immediately take note of the time and my surroundings the instant I hear or see something out of the ordinary. If a car backfires, my mind goes into autopilot and assumes it's a gunshot, so I'll then check the time, listen hard for any other sounds, check the lighting conditions around me and assess whether it is worth investigating further. Why? Not because I think I'm some sort of bone-like hero, but because I've seen witnesses get destroyed on the stand for years when they can't remember basic facts like these. Yeah, I'm real fun to be around whenever something slightly odd happens. I've always thought of telling my friends to look for some scar or another in case a clone of me was made from my genetic material, and would thus not have the scar, and they needed to tell which one is the real me. I've never actually done it though. I have an emergency response plan with my friend that if either of us ever end up in a situation in which we can't call the authorities but need help, you simply order a certain combination of pizzas to be sent to the other person's house so that they know you're in danger. Because even though you won't be allowed and or able to contact authorities, you'll totally be able to freely access your bank account, a phone book, physical or virtual, and a phone. And even if you do have free access to all of that, the whole plan could be shot to heck if your friend isn't home when the pizza deliverer arrives. Yesterday I thought about what I'd do if someone came crashing through the wall of my math class in the A-team van, opened up the back doors, and a huge black guy with a machine gun yelled, "Get in now, they ain't coming." I'd follow Mr. T. I've practiced many of my daily habits and necessities with my eyes closed, as if I were blind. A previously undiagnosed food allergy flared up and made me unable to see temporarily, which scared me to heck. Ever since then, I've been preparing myself just in case I lose my eyes for good, regardless of the reason. My zombie outbreak plan is this: a pirate ship. Think about it, always a movement source. On the sea, cannons for defense, and you can stop on small islands to fish and stuff. What's not to like? Barnacles, rotting food, hull breaches, being raided by someone with a naval military vehicle. I have been preparing for zombies for the better part of 5 years. I have handmade 2 full suits of steel chainmail which cover from head to toe. I am also in a weapons training class that teaches sword and shield combat. I buy a case of ammunition every month to stockpile. You could learn a new language and expand your horizons. I have a place in every house I have ever lived where I sporadically check in case my memory was wiped, but I had a chance to leave a message for myself. There is no reason to travel back in time and meet your former self. Being you from the past, presumably you know everything he knows, and you know what will be said, because you will already have experienced that conversation with yourself. Really what your future self will be doing is saying things that he already knows to your former self, whilst at the same time remembering back on when he had this conversation with himself in the first place. Really, the only theoretically fruitful endeavor that would be worthwhile is telling your past self something that is about to happen in order to change the future for that version of you. But in doing this, you would presumably not have the motivation to go back in time and tell yourself to change the future in the first place, because that event never happens. Thus your past self is not made into your future self that talks to your past self, creating a time paradox, but it would help stop the angels. I tattooed my name on my nutsack so your future self has something to read. Don't hate, this is my ridiculous scenario. I have actually grown very worried that I might end up creating time travel or something close to it, and have worried that someone from the future might come and murder me at any time. And there isn't much preparing for someone to pop up and kill you. So I have made it my life goal and then to pass it to my children and theirs and so on to never let time travel exist, be it even possible in the first place. So sorry for ruining it for everyone. I just don't want to be killed. That wouldn't work. Once they killed you, time travel will never have been invented. Thus he never would have killed you. But then, if he doesn't kill you, then you invent time travel, and it creates a paradox. After I saw the Truman Show, I was under the impression there really were cameras everywhere watching everything that everyone did. I don't like people seeing me brush my teeth. We had a 3-light fixture above the bathroom sink where the middle light was out, so I was convinced that the middle light was a camera. I would cover it with my hand as I brushed my teeth. I'd also cover up random things I thought were cameras, like a hole in the wall or an oddly shaped peephole, indoors or whatever. I'm going to tell you this because I care about you. It's not hidden in the middle light fixture, and you should really get that back molar looked at. Whenever I enter a new place like a classroom or auditorium, I will typically try to sit in the spot where the ceiling is lowest. That way, if gravity suddenly reversed, I would be the most likely to survive. Bonus points if the chair is bolted into the floor. Sometimes I'll pick a celebrity and prepare what I'll say if I ever met them. For Bryan Cranston, I'm going to gush about how good he was in that one episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and how I loved his voice work as Commissioner Gordon, and act confused if anyone mentions Malcolm in the Middle or Breaking Bad. The ultimate goal is to have one of them mention the encounter during a talk show. If I ever met Tom Hanks, I would mention Splash first thing and ask him if he saw Daryl Hannah naked. Since you can't know that you will never share that secret phrase with someone in the future, you can't verify someone's identity with it. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.